Lindsey Graham recently made news promising riots in the streets if there is any FBI action against Donald Trump that results in him actually potentially going to prison. Well, I think that it makes sense to predict that. I think the right will freak out if Donald Trump faces the necessary consequences for the crimes he's committed. But if that does happen, the right doesn't want you to get mad at them. In fact, they're trying in advance to excuse any violence that happens. And one of their lead warriors in this effort is Alex Jones. Take a look at this.
The next 71 days, we're going to see some very violent fireworks. I would predict racially motivated mass shootings, bombings, poisonings, attacks on power supplies being blamed on the right wing. They intend to bring in a full dictatorship in the next 71 days. And we are all strapped to this thing. This is such a dangerous time. And I would advise the globalists who are mid-level that think they're about to have a leftist revolution. The globalists don't actually plan at the higher levels to have that. They plan on having a civil war that brings down America, and you'll be the fall guy.
Okay, so if there is violence, if there's mass shootings, which spoiler alert, there will be mass shootings like today. This is America. There are going to be mass shootings, and they do actually happen because we have a violent population and far too many guns. They're not all false flags, Alex Jones. They actually happen. But if there is violence, if it's poisonings for some reason or bombings or shootings, any kind of violence like that, don't believe what you hear about who did it. Doesn't matter if they were militia members, part of Patriot Front, the Proud Boys, Boogaloo Boys, whatever. They are in advance telling their audience it's all gonna be a false flag. Any violence that happens, even including the violence that he advocates for on a daily basis, saying that civil war is necessary and all that, they can do it, but they will never be responsible for it. They can have their mass violence and eat it too. That's what Alex Jones is telling me, Sabrina. What do you think?
Yeah, it really seems like he's trying to fan some flames here, especially because in terms of like an actual potential civil war, we really only hear about that from the right, especially like the Boogaloo Boys who are just constantly itching for an excuse to shoot people. Not looking forward to this. And also, Alex Jones, don't you have other things to worry about, buddy?
Yeah, a couple legal efforts, a couple lawsuits. You should. A couple $100 billion or $1 million. Yes, I do want to stop for 1 sec on a thing that Alex Jones said, because of course Alex Jones believes a lot of insane things. But there was one thing there that I guess maybe was subtle. So 2 things. One is I love the idea of like globalist middle management. Like when I think of the globalists, I think of like cigar smoking billionaires, but he was talking to the globalists in the middle. Like I guess they're not interns anymore, but they're moving up in the one world order. I guess that would exist if the one world order was real. But the bigger issue there was the idea that the globalists want a left-wing revolution. No, they don't. First of all, they don't exist. But to the extent that they do, to the extent that there are international bodies or individuals who are really powerful and rich, you think they want a left-wing revolution? They are sitting pretty with the capitalism they've got. Why would they want communes? Why is like whatever fantasy you imagine of them overthrowing? Why would they want America overthrown? Do you have any idea how much money they make in America? And thanks to America, why would they want any of this? It makes no sense. If you want to postulate that there are people behind the scenes that are manipulating world events for their own monetary benefit, that makes all the sense in the world. But the idea that they want a left-wing revolution doesn't make any sense at all. Now, what do people actually think about this? Are they worried? Well, yet another one of these polls that happen quite frequently about what people think in terms of political violence. They asked people, YouGov and The Economist, looking ahead to the next 10 years, how likely do you think it is that there will be a civil war in this country? 43% of American citizens said civil war is at least somewhat likely. Among strong Democrats and independents, that figure was 40%. For strong Republicans, 54%. Buttressing Sabrina's point, it is the right that is thinking about this. It is the right that is postulating this. It's theorizing about when it might happen and all that. And of course, they're the ones who are like salivating for it. Stupidly, they'll get wiped out. but they're the ones that want it. Take a look at this video. This was released earlier this year by Unicorn Riot. It is the training being done by goofy members of the Patriot Front.
Right. You guys in my town? Good, yeah? Block him. Out. Circle back. Help each other out. Which means come back here, man. Shoots. Call it again. Yeah, you bet. Don't let him pass. Cycle back. That's perfect.
Okay, so is that goofy? Yes, the goof meter has been maxed out. But they're also sort of seriously deranged. But that's a bunch of people and a bunch of flags, way more flags than you need for just a training session. But they've got their shields, they fancy themselves Captain America or whatever. They've got their, dehumanizing, like you can't catch who we are if we attack someone masks on. By the way, they're proving that they can actually wear a mask, not for the right reason, but they can actually wear a mask. But these are the sort of people, Sabrina, that are just fantasizing about when the shots start being fired. They're not gonna do well once it actually happens, but they like the idea of it for now.
No, and like for example, like when people, like individuals on the left advocate for, yeah, we want a revolution. What do those people do? They get active in local politics, they canvass. It's very much about people power. And what do individuals on the right do? They posture with their guns and they make silly little videos like this. One is
100%.
definitely more violent than the other.